All right, hello there everyone. My name is Kayla Matthews, and as Heather just mentioned, I am co-founder and CEO of MOTI, where we are combining science with design to specifically help people build better habits. Just really quickly about myself. So my background is in creating truly human-centered products. I graduated from Yale as a double major in both mechanical engineering and art. Then smushed those two disciplines into product design. I won a 477 award back when I was working with Design for America, and also worked as a product designer at SC Johnson. And my co-founder, Laura, who is unfortunately not here tonight, she has experience by actually starting her career off building robots for the military, which will be applicable, as you will find out shortly, before switching over to the business side. So she has her MBA from HBS and specifically studied innovation in the consumer and social robotics space. Now, the story of MOTI really begins with my own struggle with habit formation. I tore my ACL over a decade ago, had knee surgery, went to see a physical therapist, and guess what? Over a decade later, I'm still in physical therapy. And what I realized a couple years ago is, okay, maybe this isn't working because I'm not actually doing the exercise at home. I have a therapist, I know exactly what to do, I have little bands, the little weights, I have the time, and moreover, I know this is really gonna affect my quality of life. So why? There's no logical reason why I shouldn't be doing this, but I wasn't. And that irked me to no end. But I also realized that I am not alone. We as humans are horrible at habit formation. Actually, if we look at some of the biggest issues in health today, obesity, diabetes, mental health issues, these are all fixable with the right behavior change. And in fact, at MOTI, we believe that the most powerful way to improve the modern world is through behavior change. So how do we do that? We firstly take a look at what does it take in the brain to form a habit. Some of you might be familiar with BJ Fogg's work at the Stanford Persuasive Tech Lab. So his BMAT theory, what that means is your behavior is a combination of your motivation, the ability to do the behavior, as well as the trigger. So an example of that might be, okay, I have a little habit forming app on my phone, hooray, I get a push notification. That's theoretically a trigger, but if that push notification is happening while I'm deep into my email or work or whatnot, I'm gonna completely ignore that because I don't have the motivation, I don't have the ability at that point in time to act on it. So if your triggers aren't actionable in the moment, that's a really big problem. But what does motivation mean? That's a very abstract term. So when you're looking at this, we ask ourselves, let's try and pick that apart. And when you look at some other models in terms of Charles Duhigg's habit loop theory and Mireille Al with Hooked, you see it's all about positive reinforcement. This makes a lot of sense, right? Bad habits are so easy to form because your brain is getting that shot of dopamine every time you do that behavior. Unfortunately, good habits like physical therapy, going to bed early, getting out for that run, not so much. It's all delayed gratification. So at MOTI, the way that we look at new habits, why we fail, is partially because of the lack of the right types of triggers that are actionable and also the right types of rewards. But we found in going through the human-centered design process, talking to a lot of users, there was also a lack of accountability. And I mean this in terms of emotional, social accountability outside of your own head. This is why something like a gym buddy works so well. Now, unfortunately, if we look at our current solutions, so mostly apps and wearables, they are in the wrong format for behavior change. We all know about the drop-off rate with wearables. There's a bunch of UX features there I'd love to talk about. Could spend an hour dissecting wearables from a user experience point of view. But we also have apps where we know that your phone represents so many things, it's so distracting, and it actually takes a lot of steps just to get into an app these days because we have so many. So what we learned at MOTI is that it's really not just about numbers and tracking. It's not just about the knowledge that this is good for you. That's not enough. It's not even about you wanting to do it or have an intrinsic motivation. It's ultimately all about emotion and our psychology. And that's why MOTI looks like this. He is not an app. He is not a wearable. He is what's called a social robot. And in fact, there is the world of social robotics that's been studied over the past decade, places like MIT and Yale. And what we found is that with humans, when we interact with technology that is semi-human-like, it feels like the technology is alive, it's a living being, that unlocks a lot of psychological potential on the accountability side. It unlocks these pseudo-social interactions. So let me tell you a little bit about how MOTI works. MOTI's first feature is his physicality. So he becomes what's known as an environmental cue. So one glance and you get an immediate reminder. Now, when you do your habit, in this case it's doing yoga, you go ahead and you literally push MOTI's button and he's gonna celebrate with you. So it's a very, very simple but very Pavlovian act. Through this binary nature, you are basically forced to acknowledge your small win, which is extremely important. And he's also providing that external reward and that gratification in the moment. Now, the better you get at your habit, Moti knows this because he's connected to Wi-Fi, he's gonna get even more happy and excited. However, if you slack off, he might get angry at you, or he might get sad, start crying, or maybe he's gonna stay purely encouraging. Now, when we were setting up Moti, I mentioned that he's connected to the web, so there's a setup app where we're also talking about what is the right habit for each individual. Let's break that down to make it small, distinct, actionable, tie it to an existing routine. But we also give folks a quick personality profile. This is how Moti knows when to get, whether it's angry, some people need that drill sergeant, or maybe they need pure positive reinforcement, pure cheerleader Moti. And this is also combined with analytics in the back end. So what we take a look at is both the individual's compliance data for that habit. We also take a look at the group and say, okay, for this particular individual, what motivational bucket do they fall into? Is it more about motivating through guilt or fear, or is it through empathy, through hope? That's what's dictating Moti's interactions. It also dictates how you see your individual dashboard. So really interesting in our beta study, folks who fell into that hope category, when they saw a numerical habit score out of 100 and a downward inflection arrow, that was super just demotivating. So for them, we need to only give them positive, upward trajectories, really show the positive nature as opposed to the negative. We'll also detect in the back end if you are falling off or at risk to fall off, and attempt to diagnose why and automatically update your settings. I'm running out of time here, but really quickly, we did a beta study. So we saw that 85% of users surveyed with that study said Moti was essential to their habit formation. And if you ask them why, you realize it really comes down to this new form factor. It's about having that physical environmental cue, that walk in the room moment. And also because Moti is emotive. So as one beta user put it, it feels like I'm impressing someone even though it's not actually someone. Our users call Moti a he, a she, they'll nickname him and whatnot. So it's really about that pride that's motivating folks that we know is so important from a social point of view. Now, really quick overview, Moti's all about customization. So it's not a one-size-fits-all model. We're optimizing people at first for success using a different form factor and the setup app. We're dynamically learning and tailoring it in the moment, providing those positive feedback loops. And then of course, we're engaging them if stalled. So where we are today, we are actually 7 days to go in our Kickstarter campaign that is already 209% funded. And so we have our B2C side, but I also want to talk to you guys about what I'm honestly a little bit more excited about, which is our B2B side. So what we see is a lot of potential with Moti, whether that's children with autism, aging baby boomers, medication adherence in the elderly, the 43.8 million adults who have a mental illness and are seeing therapists. One of our beta users actually use Moti for daily affirmations each day. Or even if we go more into employee, corporate health and wellness, how we're living in a sedentary nation. We had one beta user use Moti to work to help him use his standing desk. He had one, but he wasn't actually using one. So my ask for you guys is if you are part of an organization that cares or needs some help with behavior change, we want to talk to you and understand what are your problems. Can we help your clients, your patients, your employees, and whatnot? And we've got a survey at moti.io/health. I will not be offended if you open up your phones or your laptops right now. It's very quick and easy. If you think that Moti can help, we'd love to have a conversation with you, hear more, and talk about what those possibilities might be. You can also email me at kayla@moti.io. Our Twitter handle is habitmoti, and of course, moti.io is our website. Thank you guys very much. The video didn't have sounds, so I'm just going to play it real quick here. There are a couple different ones. Oh, there you go. So we designed him to sound very, I would say, R2-D2 Wall-E-like, worked with a sound designer who actually worked with some of the Star Wars video games with the droids. So it's all about bringing Moti to life through sounds, through light animations, and also a little bit of haptic vibration. So please come up afterwards and test them out.
Kayla, would you be willing to take questions?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Sorry. Any questions?
How much?
How much? So on Kickstarter, we've got our regular pricing is at $99. That comes with the device, the setup app for free, and all the analytics as well.
Is it going to stay that way? Go up, go down? When do you really best price? How much?
That is a wonderful question. We do hope that price will drop down because of economies of scale with hardware that is higher than we'd like it to be. Anything else?
How did you recruit your beta testers?
Yeah, so we put together a website, just I designed it on Squarespace one day. Luckily, I have a little bit of background in design, and we were lucky enough to get a Fast Company article as well, so we had over 2,000 people apply. with intent to buy. We had them go through a really laborious survey to understand their demographics. And then from those 2,000, we weeded out the ones that we thought would be best. We ended up picking 35 folks to make 3D printed off-the-shelf electronics prototypes, ship them out across the country, sell it to those folks, and then follow them. All right. Thanks, guys.